Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Illumineeers Quest podcast, where we talk everything Lorcana. Not just the very shortly to be released co-op version of the game. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jacob.
And thanks for coming on this journey with us. Okay, it is 2 weeks from today that the Illumineeers Quest comes out.
2 weeks as of recording, yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean. I guess.
I'm making sure they don't get it confused.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Good clarification there. That being said, I guess a quick spoiler, if you're listening to this, I think we're going to stream a playthrough of that, probably opening weekend, if not the day it comes out.
Yeah, I would think so.
So if you're interested or can't get your hands on or want to watch it, us play through the co-op version, then yeah, we're gonna stream that for sure, along with our opening.
If you want to see Illumineeers Quest, play Illumineeers Quest.
That's a pretty solid option, I think. But anyways, yeah, so today, card awards, the
Let's go.
Legendary,
Let's do it.
the infamous, the massively loved,
Popular,
insanely popular card awards. So we took the community's feedback. We got a good amount of responses for all of the different top categories of the game, and we're going to see what everybody voted on for those different categories. So it should be really fun. But yeah, so I think with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. As always, everyone, thanks for listening. We appreciate all the support across our YouTube, Twitter, and audio podcast versions of the platform. If you want to email the show, you can do so at lorcanapod@gmail.com. You can follow my funny/terrible takes, depending on what side you're on X/Twitter. And if you are looking at buying Chapter 4 singles for any of the Lorcana challenges or your local league or whatever, please consider using our affiliate link. It helps the podcast more than you can imagine. And for everybody that has done that, we sincerely appreciate all the support.
Absolutely.
Okay, with that said, let's jump right into it. I'm doing it a little bit backwards this time first. Let's go card of the week, and you've got a great one that I completely agree with. So,
all right, so we've got Scar, Vicious Cheater, which is the legendary in Ruby from Chapter 2. 7 cost, uninkable, 6 strength, 5 willpower. Quest for 2 has Rush and ability Daddy isn't here to save you. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of this turn.
Almost a one-sided be prepared, depending on the matchup you're going up against.
That's fair. Especially, the reason I brought this one up is my dad's been assembling a Mufasa deck. So,
okay. Scar's a solid option for that.
So, this is like one of my favorite pulls, because I've been playing with it too, to help him practice with it. Scar's one of my favorite pulls to get from Mufasa, so...
Yeah, Scar's insane, because, there's so many more low-to-the-ground decks between Emerald Steel and Amethyst Steel. And there's even some pretty just straight hardcore aggro going on these days with your Amber Amethyst or your even Ruby Amethyst with LeFou and the new Simba. That having somebody that can just go ping out a ton of different characters is crazy. You weren't at League this week, but Matt, who you didn't meet because you were sick for the second set championships, came. So we had a new guy that's going to be showing up every once in a while. And he was playing your tempo deck, and I took out, I think, 4 or 5 of his cards on one go with the Scar. So that's why I agree with it. I think it's a solid play. He ended up beating me because, tempo beats Red Dime. But it was good. It was good exercise to see how to play into a good player's, solid, strong deck like that. So anyways, I like Scar a lot. I think if you are playing... your Ruby Sapphire Dime or Mufasa, it's almost irreplaceable these days because it can't get ripped by any of the song characters like Bare Necessities or Ursula, like Be Prepared can. It's incredibly strong. If you're playing Popsicle, then you can heal him in between those hits, and so then he can just go forever. Yep. So it's a really, really, really strong card.
It's also not bad with locations if you need it.
No, because you can banish a character and then challenge into a location too. Yep. So it's really strong that way as well. So yeah, I really, really like Scar. I think that's a solid pick for the day, especially as we, again, really gearing up now a couple weeks away from Atlanta. That's a really, really solid option. So
especially because Mufasa for our local meta has been so prevalent and so prominent.
Yeah.
So I thought it was worth bringing up.
Yeah, that's a really solid one. Okay, so I'm switching back now to questions/comments from listeners. On a couple weeks ago's episode, we talked about the set championships, and I asked everybody else how they did at their set championships. And I got quite a few responses, and we have some other stitches gathered in the community. So
Let's do it.
That was fantastic.
Let's do it.
First off, we've got our good buddy Alex, who won one and top four one.
Nice.
So that's insane. So he got 2 stitches, so that's insane. We also have Thomas, shout out Thomas, who got a stitch as well. It's incredibly hard to do, especially given the community that you play in. I mean, I guess it could be easier in others, but I know ours was a lot harder than I expected, and we have a really good community, and so I imagine it's not easy for anybody. We also have the Ragnarok, who judged one, which is fun. I think like that is very intriguing to me. Like I would really like to do that at some point too. If there's ever a day where like I just am not in the mood to compete, or like that weekend even, maybe I just don't want to do that certain one or whatever, then I think judging would be super fun. We have, shout out Canada, we have Vanessa from Montreal, who ended up in a top 4 and got a stitch.
Awesome.
So fantastic, another one there. And then lastly, we have even this, again, Miss Emily, shout out as well, finished 19 out of 30th, but this is her first TCG and first competitive tournament. And so same deal, like your brother. I mean, he didn't win one either, but he competed well above my expectations, and so I was super proud of him. So even if you don't win the stitches, we have a ton of people that did, some that didn't, but yeah, I mean, I think getting out there and learning and playing is all, what this is all about. And so
I mean, I didn't even win a stitch.
Yeah, you didn't.
I just think that we all, for us, I'll put us all in a group that did well but didn't win a stitch. We deserve some credit, I think, a little bit. We still went out there and competed. So.
Yeah, again, it's all about the fun and building the community, which we've talked about 100 times. And so as much as the competition and the stitches are obviously really fun, the whole environment and the whole community and the whole ordeal of everything is really what made it so much fun, because it was a taxing couple of weekends. I think everybody that played in a couple agrees with me. Yeah. But it was so worth it. Like I said at the end of my last one, I was like, win or lose, it's going to be really sad for this, this whole ordeal to end, because we don't know when the next one's going to be. I think we're assuming it's every set, but I think that would be a lot too, and so it might just be a couple times a year.
I think it's every set. It's set championships.
I know, but they might not do a set championship every time. Like it might be the championship for that set. Again, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying they haven't like 100% confirmed that it will be every time.
Fair.
So I think it will probably happen. But that being said, even if that is the case, we're still 3 months away from the next time we have one, and that's it just stinks because it was so much fun. Okay, so no direct comment, I guess, that I wanted to highlight this week, but I'm glad that everybody that told me how they did, because it's a lot of fun to see that we have a pretty solid community and everybody else is having success and having fun as well. So love to see that. Okay, news, what's on our mind, league recap, all of the above.
I'm bringing it up.
Okay, go for it.
Our boy Michael.
Well, yeah, that's the first thing I was going to say, too.
Okay, good. Shout out to Michael, the man that we've mentioned multiple times on this podcast, the one that we have a segment about for stuff that he does wrong.
No, for crazy and wacky things. But he did a crazy and wacky thing.
He won a set championship.
Yes, he did. Not even that. You forgot the most important part. He wasn't even going to go to that one because he had somewhere else to be. And he decided to go play, and I'm super glad that he did, because he did end up winning.
And who did he beat in the
finals?
He beat
me in the finals. So, I mean, yeah. So the quick weekend 2 league update is that Michael and I, who we now have a group chat with our Lorcana inner circle, and he's obviously a part of that, is won the set championship. I came in second. Your brother finished top 8, which unfortunately really stings. I have 2 top 8s now without getting a stitch, and so those really sting, and so I get it, but still super proud of him. I mean, he finished, I think when like the all standings finished, I think he was like 7th out of 20 or 19, 20, something like that. And so I mean, that's top, way over top half and almost top third. So
with
incredible.
An outside meta deck, he's played
Jafar. And so insane run by everybody and the Illumineers Quest Center Circle. I think shout out Seth too. He came to Saturday and almost got top 8 again, playing a red dime deck into a massively green steel meta, and was knocking on the door both times to get into top 8. So all of us did really well, I think. But yeah, it's fun to finish, put that behind us, and start looking forward to Atlanta. The biggest thing on my mind is obviously 2 weeks from today, week and a half from when this comes out, is set 4. I got my Illumineeers quest pre-ordered, so as mentioned, we will be streaming the run-through of that. I've got everything ready to rock and roll. Yeah, it's just a matter of that's right around the corner.
We're going to do our best to avoid what's in that envelope, but I assume that we'll probably get spoiled.
I don't know, because if it hasn't yet, then there's no like supply chain people that are spoiling it, and if we're not going to get on there like first thing, like opening day, and like start looking for spoilers. So I think we probably can keep it from getting spoiled. But yes, we will do a recap of our playthrough of Illumineeers Quest with a spoiler-free and a spoiler version, or like
That's
segment
fair. Yeah.
for people that don't want to have it spoiled. In probably 3 weeks, an episode in like 3 weeks-ish.
On podcasts.
Yeah, and then we will have a stream, and then we are going to stream a playthrough of it as well. So that obviously will be a spoiler because that will all unfold on us real time. But yeah, that's I think what's on our mind. I mean, I guess the only other thing to say is I just did my first reopening of Chapter 1, and I've got a Hades enchanted from the box, so which is actually my second one. I got the prize packs from when Michael beat me, had a Hades in those as well. So I've now got 2 enchanted Hades from Chapter 1.
That's fantastic.
Which is nutty. Anything? What's else on your mind? Anything else?
I mean, I'm a little overwhelmed at the moment with like, because it's, I mean, I say that every beginning of
the
every
reveals
set.
are coming fast and furious now.
And competitions now are on our radar. We got the challenge. We've got set championships. So it's just all got a lot to think about now.
Yeah, there's a ton. But yeah, so I think, I mean, we're gonna do a chapter 3 recap, chapter 4 looking forward episode as well before we get into chapter 4 next week, and we also have a behind the lore episode coming out as well that talks through all of the story of Lorcana as we get into Ursula's return, because that's a very story-driven set. So look out for all those in the next couple weeks.
There we go. We got some fun ones on the docket.
On the horizon for sure. Okay, with that said, I think that's it. Are you ready to get into the card awards?
I really want an announcer like fancy voice for this, but
I don't know. I mean, just trying to get it started here and like bring some hype into it. But
let's do it.
Okay, so we're going down the list. I don't remember. I think there's, how many questions are there? It doesn't say, or no, it does say on here, but it doesn't give you the number. I think there's like 15 categories. Best common card, best uncommon card, best rare, super rare, legendary, best action, song, item, location, best card in general, most annoying card, best art, best enchanted art, and then best deck. So I don't know how many that is. I didn't count through, but the fun thing this time is there were quite a few like runaways in set 2. I think it was a lot less diverse, and with the diversity that we have this time, I think you don't have near as many like obvious answers because there's so many different decks that people are playing, and so their perspective on what the best one is very dependent on what they're playing, most likely. So there's a lot of that. But with that said, there is a couple categories to get through. So let's go ahead and we'll jump in and we'll talk about the results, and we will give our perspectives on what we think on all this as well. So with that said, we're starting with the best common card category, and the options that we proposed were Dalmatian Puppy Tail Wagger, Stitch Rocket, McDuck Manor, and Baboom.
I like it.
So, and this one is definitely a landslide. So, I said that there are a lot more close competitions in this one, but with 73.5% of the vote, we have McDuck Manor coming in first, which I don't think is too shocking. I think it's by far the most played of these. Dalmatian Puppy Tail Wagger does have a couple votes as well, and Stitch Rocket has a couple also. The Puppy Tail Wagger, I actually honestly think I voted for the Puppy Tail Wagger just because I think it's like such a unique card. Whether this doesn't say most playable best common card. This is just the best common card, and so I think that the uniqueness of that was really fun. I will say Baboom did not get any votes, and I think had this started and been on everybody's radar like a lot more recently than we started it, that would probably gotten a bunch of votes because I think that's seen a little bit of resurgence. I would have voted Boom,
to be honest. I think I would have.
It's gotten a lot of resurgence the last probably week and a half around the set championship time frame. So yeah, that's a little shocking to see, but also I can't argue with the McDuck Manor being number one. I mean, it's so insanely strong.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
We got best uncommon card on the list here. We've got Tinkerbell, Generous Fairy, Chernbog's Followers, Ursula Deceiver, How Far I'll Go, and Mr. Smee, Bumbling Mate.
Okay, I will say that this one isn't shocking, but is also kind of is shocking. So, without further ado,
what do you mean by that?
Just you.
Okay.
Without further ado, you can say, and then I will give you my perspective.
So, by not a landslide,
no,
pretty close.
This one's almost split 50-50.
Ursula Deceiver takes the cake.
Yes, with 53%. So, and then in second place with 41% is Mr. Speed Bumbling Mate. So what is kind of shocking to me is that it's that close. Like this, okay. I mean, Smee is very good. Don't get me wrong. Like I've played a lot of Steel this set, and Mr. Smee has, I think, been a 4 of in every single one of those decks. I don't have him in my set champion deck, the Steel Song one. I basically just focused on all the shift lines, and so he's not in there. But that being said, he's extremely, extremely strong. But they're just, I don't know. I think Ursula Deceiver, especially like if you had done this at the very beginning of the set, Ursula Deceiver would probably have gotten 100% of the vote.
Yeah.
I think it's, everybody has gotten used to dealing with her. So from that regard, it's not as good, I guess, because if you do miss, then it's kind of a liability because you took an entire turn to do that and she doesn't do much after that. Absolutely. If she does miss. But can't disagree. It is definitely the best uncommon card and is very, very annoying. And the reason that it is so good is what I just said. People are playing around it. Like if you have to actively play around a card like that or be in a situation where you can't get punished by said card, then you know that card's really good.
Oh, exactly. I completely agree.
Okay. Moving on, best rare card category. We've got Bare Necessities, The Queen's Castle, Cursed Merfolk, RLS Legacy, and then along came Zeus. A little awkward to say there, but this one is very split, and I'm very shocked at this one, honestly.
I am too. This is an interesting one.
So without further ado, because I'd rather just talk about it, we'll actually run down the list here because. Fourth, third, and second are all relatively close, with first actually in a massive advantage compared to the others. But without further ado, in fourth place, Cursed Merfolk. Fourth place, Cursed Merfolk was 14%. That's insane, right?
That's really interesting.
In third place, we have the Queen's Castle with 17%. In second place, we have Bare Necessities with 23%. And in first place, taking the win from the fan votes is And Then Along Came Zeus with 41%. Okay, I don't really know how to say this one because I could make an argument for all of them. That being said, I do think...
Queen's Castle's out of place, I think.
I think... Why so?
Just to me, I mean, I guess... Locations for me aren't my favorite card.
Queen's Castle is so good. It's so good. It's so good.
I don't know, but if I'm looking at these four, Queen's Castle seems out of place to me.
I don't think so. I think it's very... I would honestly probably put it in third, right where it is. That being said, I think I would probably pick Merfolk. I don't remember what I responded on this one for my specific results, but Merfolk has to take the cake. Like, again, it's just like we talked about with above... with Ursula Deceiver. Like, you have to play around it. You have to be ready for it to be played. If you're playing a green deck or against a green deck, you know it's coming, and you either have to be ready to discard a card and then be able to replenish or play with little limited resources because you can't just let it sit there unchecked because they'll win the game easy.
I think I voted Zeus on this one. I do think I did.
Zeus is fantastic. I play Zeus way more than any of these, but I don't think it deserves 41%. But again, this is, it wins. And so the fans voted. The fans/community have spoken. And Zeus wins. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just like a hater because I play Zeus all the time. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I play Zeus more than any of these.
That's an interesting result there.
But Bare Necessities too. I think Bare Necessities is insane. All
It took
four.
second
The
place.
crazy thing is, all four of these are insanely good cards. So the rare category is probably the best cards from the set. I mean, there are good legendaries too.
There's good legendaries. I don't know. That's a.
All right. Well, we'll move on to super rares because I could talk about that one forever because it's just such a wild category. But that being said, best super rares. Take it away.
So I think this one, the result is obvious here, but we'll go with the options we gave you. So we got Madame Medusa the Boss, Prince Eric Expert Helmsman, Sheriff of Nottingham Corrupt Official, and Chernobog Evildoer. So taking the cake here is Madame Medusa.
Yeah, with by far the biggest advantage in the vote, with 88% of responses going for Madame Medusa. I can't disagree with that one either. I think Chernobog's really good, but I think it's very limited in its use cases. I've said this I think I've said this on the podcast. I know I've said it locally now with our group way too many times, but for the people that are local that are listening to this, you're going to have to listen to it one more time. The removal cards, they dictate the meta.
Yes.
I mean, Madame Medusa has dictated the cards that are played. Like, Tamatoa is obviously an insanely good card, and the Red Dime deck is insanely good, but I feel like he's one of the biggest outliers that has like really seen a resurgence because he can't get removed from Medusa. Same thing with Gaston, Intellectual Powerhouse. The 4 strength and the digging ability, it keeps him immune to Madame Medusa, and he can dig. Insane card. Tinkerbell Giant Fairy doesn't get removed from Madame Medusa. Robin Hood and Beast, on the other hand, while I'm not saying they're not good cards, I'm saying you have to be very strategic at when you're playing them because they can just get removed. And if you play a Beast to try to get some draw off of it and then it just gets insta banished, it feels really bad.
It does.
And so Madame Medusa has definitely shifted the way that the game has played because of the removal effects that they have. And I think that will happen a lot this next set too when we see like Be Prepared, or what Be King Undisputed.
Be
Sorry,
King
yes,
Undisputed.
I knew that was wrong when I said it, but I just kept talking anyways. So anyways, yeah, there's no question Madame Medusa is the best of that list. Chernobog's great as well. Prince Eric, I think, has seen some steam in some Mufasa decks, but still very limited. So no qualms on that one for sure. Alrighty. So, are you ready to move on to the big one here? Best legendary card of the set.
This is like I think this is our best like leading actor option, you know, if we're comparing this to the Oscars. Like, do you think this is like best actor?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't even necessarily, and I'm not saying that this is the case for this set necessarily. I'm just saying in general, the best card of the set doesn't like necessarily have to come as a legendary. I think in the prior 2 cases, that is the case, but that won't always be the case, is what I'm trying to say.
I think that's fair.
So, but yes, that being said, I think this is probably the cream of the crop.
Because we don't have a best card, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay, then that's what that is.
I guess you're right. I guess this is no. Well, I don't know. Best legendary card, best supporting. Maybe this is best supporting actor. I don't know. That's a weird comparison to make because they all have. This is like a subcategory.
Sure.
Maybe this is just like best soundtrack or something. I don't know. No, that would be best. That would be best song. Best soundtrack.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, best legendary card. I'll stop just rambling on here.
I liked it.
There were a lot of good ones to consider this time. Jafar Striking Illusionist. I know had its place and is still played from time to time. You got Ursula, Deceiver of All, which is obviously insane. You've got Jim Hawkins, Space Traveler, which had a enormous rise and fall. But I still think the tempo gain from playing Jim is insane. So if I were playing Ruby Amethyst, I'd still strongly consider it, even though I know most decks don't run him. Lucky Dime, which is insanely as good as well. I know has made the Red Dime meta churn, so without that you wouldn't have any of those. And then rounding it out, we have Robin Hood at Champion of Sherwood. So in my mind, just like these results say, there's really 3 that stick out. Robin Hood, Lucky Dime, and Ursula are the top are by far and away the top 3, I think.
I agree with that.
From there, depending on your stance on the different decks and what you're playing, I think it's going to be a different answer, obviously. But with that said, we'll go ahead and jump into it. Lucky Dime, with a shockingly low, in my opinion, 14%, is Lucky Dime. I said that. Lucky Dime in third place, 14%. So I don't necessarily have a problem with it being in third place. Again, I think this is very meta dependent and very dependent on what you're playing. Personally, I would probably put at least the percentages higher. So, in second place with 35%, we have Ursula, Deceiver of All, which leaves in first place Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood. Yeah, I think the reason that Robin Hood wins is he's extremely versatile. You have the shift, you have the singing ability on 5, you have the challenge and banish and gain lore, you have the card draw if he's banished and challenged. So I think just the overall versatility that you get out of him really enables a lot of diverse play, whereas Ursula and Lucky Dime are like very straightforward, like this is what you're trying to do with the card and it's very obvious, whereas Robin Hood you can kind of play around and do a few different things, and the 6 HP is insane on him as well.
No, I agree. That's who I picked. I picked Robin Hood, so I agree with the selections here. Percentages maybe not so much as far as Lucky Dime goes. You know what? I actually do agree. I think Lucky Dime deserves its spot in the top 3, but I think it is a step down from...
I would disagree with that, but that's okay.
I know.
Okay. All right. So I think I don't want to get into another Zach banter fight here, so I'm just gonna let that one slide, and we'll move on. But that being said, we are moving on to best action, and you can take it from here.
All right. So best action, we've got Baboom, Rise of the Titans, and Last Ditch Effort. With 72% taking the cake, we have Rise of the Titans.
Yes, we do. And again, this one's a weird one because the timing in which this was put out was like 3 weeks to a month ago, I think now. And at the time, there was a lot more Sapphire Steel, and given that, there was a lot more Rise of the Titans. Now that Sapphire Steel has kind of been pared back a little bit, and it has shifted to be more aggro focused with Baboom.
Yes.
And so I would be curious to see if like we did a 15-hour poll, like just like today.
Yeah.
What the results would be, because I think Baboom, it might be 50-50, but I think Baboom would get a lot more than 27%.
I think I'd still vote Rise though of the Titans, in my book.
I don't know. I think, again, when I'm thinking about the best card and thinking about the versatility, I think Baboom's a lot more versatile than Rise of the Titans.
That's fair.
I mean, Rise is obviously great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not, and it wins. And again, I think I voted for Rise. I'm just saying I think it's a lot closer than it states.
No, I for sure agree.
Okay. Moving on. Best soundtrack, a.k.a. best song.
Ooh, I haven't seen these results yet. Jeez, all right.
So we have a couple bangers in this category as well. We have Bare Necessities, and then Along Came Zeus, Strike a Good Match, and How Far I'll Go. So again, I think 2 definitely rise above the others. And I will say though, before I get into it, How Far I'll Go has seen a massive resurgence the last week-ish.
Yes.
If you follow any of the big professionals or content creators or master deck builders, whatever you want to call them, shout out Savage. He has pioneered a new red dime deck with How Far I'll Go, and has it's really started to take a heading on it. So I really like How Far I'll Go, but I do still think it's probably a step below the other 2. So without further ado, in second place with 41% is actually Bare Necessities. And in first place, which should not be shocking given the results of the best rare category, we have And Then Along Came Zeus with 51%. So Then Along Came Zeus winning it. Again, I think it's a fantastic card. I still think Bare Necessities is probably my pick for 2 main reasons. One, it can cause massive disruption to your opponent's plan. If you do a Bare Necessities on somebody's Fishbone or on somebody's Be Prepared or Whole New World or whatever the case is, it can really disrupt their path forward. It can also take anything. So like Queen's Castle, if you're playing a deck that doesn't deal well with locations, you can take away a castle, you can take away a McDuck Manor, or any of the above. And it's inkable. The inkability factor to me is massive.
That's fair.
And so, Then Along Came Zeus. It obviously takes out pretty much all the big bodies. You can take out a beast. You can take out a Maleficent Monstrous Dragon. You can take out a Tinkerbell. Basically everything but Robin Hood and Tamatoa that's like really strongly played. So I can't disagree with the results. I just, again, my play style, my, I guess, aversion to having too many uninkable cards, Bare Necessities takes the cake for me.
That's fair. I think I'd still go with Zeus on this one as well. Which I said I would as on the rare, so.
Okay, so flashback. Did you say Bare Necessities was S tier and Zeus A tier? But now you're picking Zeus.
I think that is fair. I don't think I'd put Bare Necessities in S anymore. That was a while ago.
It's like I just said. Okay, well, you're getting me all riled up again, and I'm not trying. Okay. So moving on. Take it away.
All right, best item. We've got Maui's Fishhook, Lucky Dime, Sumerian Talisman, and Heart of Tafiti.
I don't think this is going to be a shocking result.
So in second place with 26.5%, we have Maui's Fishhook. 70.6% in first place, Lucky Dime.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you'd expect, right?
I mean, I would have expected more heavy Lucky Dime sweep.
Yeah, to be honest, I think you're right. I think the Fishhook has started to fall out of favor.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning it was, when Gem was played a lot more and there was a lot more locations needing to be dealt with, the Fishhook was a good one. I think most people that are dealing with locations now are playing Crab or we already talked about the Rise of Titans, and those seem to be like the two deal with location type of cards these days, with Fishhook not getting as much love, but I think Fishhook's still good too. So I don't have any issues with those. Okay, it's a good thing I got this one because you're apparently not a location guy, even though you play Queen's Castle.
I've noticed with the reveals, I just don't like it takes me a little bit to get like used to a location or like understand that it's viable. I'm a little harder when it comes to being convinced on a location.
Well, that's fair, but you're not convinced on the locations that we've been around for 3 months?
Honestly, there's only one that I like.
Which is McDuck?
No, it's Queen's Castle.
But we said McDuck was the best. Did we say? Or no, wait, we're about to find out what's the best.
We're about to find out what's the best.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. Coming in second place with 26% is McDuck Manor, and coming in first place with 67% is Queen's Castle. Which, I think that's probably fair. Again, I guess I shouldn't say I think it's fair. I think it's definitely fair. It by far has more impact. The ability to draw the cards with Queen's Castle warrants much more of I have to get rid of this than the McDuck Manor. I've definitely played the manors where I just race it and I just say, okay, like it's on there, but if I have more lore, then I just leave it unchecked and just keep going. Queen's Castle, you can't really do that because if they start putting characters in there, you either have to check all the characters or check the castle, and it's usually easier to just check the castle. And so Queen's Castle is definitely very scary and definitely not fun to play against. So I would agree with the people there.
I agree as well.
All right. Getting into the big dogs.
Now here's best supporting it. Best actor. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is what we got.
All right. Best card / best actor. Take it away.
All right. So as the options, we have Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood, Bare Necessities, and then came along Zeus. Along came Zeus. Jeez. Ursula Deceiver of All, Lucky Dime, and Ursula Deceiver.
Yes. So all of these are fantastic. I think it's hard to just pick one because they're obviously all of them have their place, and with such a diverse meta, they're all very necessary given the deck that you're playing. But some of the percentages I think are a little shocking. Maybe not. No, maybe not.
I think it makes sense.
I think this is all pretty solid.
I think it makes sense. All right, you want me to go? I'll go.
Yeah,
from
go
there.
for it.
So in like a tied third place.
Tied third place. Tied fourth place, I think is how they do. Anyways, yes.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know, because I'm going from the bottom up and I'm confused. I think it's tied third, you're right.
So both with 8%. We've got Ursula Deceiver and Bare Necessities.
Yes, so I think both of those are very warranted. Is it the best card? No. But is it a fantastic card? Sure. So
yes.
Feel good about both of those.
In second place with 26%, Ursula Deceiver of All. And in first place with 44%, Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood.
I guess that shouldn't be too surprising given the results of the legendary. But again, it's shocking to so Lucky Dime came in tied for last, with then Along Came Zeus at 5 or 6% each. Which again, I don't know. Lucky Dime to me, I think deserves more votes than the 9% we saw with Ursula Deceiver and Bare Necessities.
I think the problem with Dime is that I think the reason it doesn't like get in the conversation with best card most of the time is because you're rarely running 4 of.
No, you're definitely not. But it also, just like we've talked about with other cards, like it spawned its own deck.
I agree. No, I agree. I think that's where it's not in that top echelon.
So you have to run 4 copies for it to be a top echelon?
I think so. I would say so. In this best card category, yes.
I could see an argument for both, because obviously it's, the impact that you can have by running 4 of them is higher, or it's, so important that you're always going to run 4. But on the other hand, just because you're running 2 doesn't make its impact any less. It just means you don't want to see it early on in the game.
Well, let me say this. Maybe it doesn't go into best card if it's not being ran as a 4 of in its main deck.
I don't know. I think...
Because, like, Dragonfire, or Monstrous Dragon is one of the best cards in the game, yet some decks you run 2 of. You don't always run 4 of. But in its main decks, you run 4 of.
Yeah, but again, the impact that it has is very different. Like, it's an item that stays on the board, and so you don't necessarily need 4, because it's not like you need to play multiple copies for it to have the impact. Obviously, it can get removed, but it's a lot more persistent on the board, and so you don't need 4 of them down. And since you don't need 4 of them down, once you find one, you can play it, and then you're good. And so that you have very different scenarios and very different like paradigms as to the way those cards play out, because they're different, parts of the game that you're interacting with.
I agree. I just think that that's what separates it from being a really great card from best card.
I mean, yeah, I think we're saying essentially the same thing in different ways on different sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I still think it deserves. Is it the best card? Probably not. Do I think it's more deserving than tied for last? Probably.
But again, I think on this I did vote Champion of Sherwood.
I don't remember what I voted. I think I voted Champion of Sherwood too. But okay, so most annoying card. So we're going to, I guess, a Razzie now for worst performer or most annoying performer. This one, here you go, because this one isn't very shocking, but this is very telling at what people feel about cards we just talked about.
Absolutely.
So we have Madame Medusa the Boss, we have Lucky Dime, Prince Eric, Expert Helmsman, McDuck Manor, and then Along Came Zeus, and Jafar Striking Illusionist. So I'll just stick to the top 3 here. In third place, we have Jafar Striking Illusionist, which I don't think is too shocking. Is he very annoying? Yes. I think these annoying cards, I guess I should back up. Like, these are annoying in the sense of when they're played, you're either really frustrated because it does something to you that you don't want to, or it like has to be checked right away.
And maybe with a couple of options here, they're really hard to get up off the board.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair one too. So in second place, we have Lucky Dime. So people aren't voting for it to be the best, but they're saying it's one of the most annoying. And if it's not any good, then it wouldn't be annoying.
I'm not saying it's not any good.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just talking about these results in general. That people aren't saying that it's the best, but when it comes to playing against it, it's one of the most annoying. And if it's the most annoying, then to me that says it's one of the best.
I disagree.
So in first place with 32%, Madame Medusa the Boss. She's the most annoying because she is incredibly hard to deal with and is incredibly good. So,
was Medusa in the best card category?
No, which I just thought maybe that was a miss, but I still don't think she's the best. I don't know. Maybe she does deserve. I don't know. Maybe she just deserves to be like a 7th one on here.
I think so.
Because all of those are so good. Yeah, I don't know. I just think if that many people are annoyed to play against it, then that proves at how good it is.
I mean, it went. Lucky Dime, I think, got my vote for most annoying card. So, I
think Medusa got mine because I just hate playing something and then just getting removed. That's really, really annoying.
Well, I've always played inks that don't have item removal, so that's...
Yeah, that's fair. Although, has my heart, or whatever, is item removal in Emerald.
True.
It's just not... I mean, and you could use it. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that that's not used more, to be fair. But anyway,
it will be in Chapter 4, I can tell you that.
That's very off topic. We're not getting on that one today. I think all of these are very, very worthy. I think Jafar... Medusa and Dime are the 3 most annoying cards because they have to be checked right away, and if they're not, then the game will usually run away. Or not checked. I guess Medusa doesn't have to be checked, but you have to play around Medusa, like we talked about with Beast and Robin Hood, that you have to play around it because if you don't, then it just gets Medusa'd and it's a very bad time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Best art.
All right, let's do this here. So we've got Dalmatian Puppy Tailwagger, Kita Protector of Atlantis, Jafar Striking Illusionist, How Far I'll Go, and then Along Came Zeus, and Stitch Rocket.
Okay, and just to be clear, these are not the Enchanteds. I know there are a couple in there that are Enchanteds, but these are just the normal arts of these cards.
And we'll go top 3 here. So in 3rd place with 11%, we have And Then Along Came Zeus, which is a interesting pick in my mind, but I like it. In 2nd place with 32%, Kita Protector of Atlantis, and in 1st place with 35%, so not far off from 2nd, we have Jafar Striking Illusionist.
Okay, this is the one qualm I have with our community. Dalmatian Puppy Tailwagger is the best art, hands down. I will not fold on this one. I will argue on this one all day, all night, forever.
I voted for Kita, but...
Kita's fantastic. I'm not saying Kita's bad. I'm saying you have 5 copies of puppies, and they're puppies. Puppies. I love puppies.
I would say that's subjective because I'm not an animal person, so I don't think that puppies would be towards the top of my list.
It's the most unique. It's the most like.
We're talking specifically about the art, not the card.
I know the art is the most unique because it has 5 different arts, where everybody else just has 1.
I see what you're saying.
So,
I see what you're saying.
Again, Jafar and Kita, aside from Puppy, are probably my top 2. So again, I would agree with that.
For me, I would have put Chernobog on this list, but
no, I'm not a Chernobog fan. I don't know. I know you like the big bad guys, and so he fits your MO, but Chernobog is not mine. But for the other 9% of people that picked Dalmatian Puppy Tailwagger, you are my favorite people in the community. I'm kidding. This is obviously very this is as subjective as it gets because it's art and everybody has different styles and different tastes. But yes, I'm a big puppy fan. So, but as we move on to the best enchanted art, this one is extremely subjective because there isn't any puppies.
This one blows my mind.
So this one's all over the board. Not surprising because again, it is just subjective to people's tastes.
Yeah, I do top 5 here.
Top 5. Gosh, I don't even know which ones are the top 5.
Top 4.
Yeah, we'll just do top 4. Okay, in 4th place we have Jafar Striking Illusionist, which that one kind of shocks me because I think when it came out that was everybody's favorite.
Okay.
In 3rd place we have Kita Protector of Atlantis. In 2nd place we have And Then Along Came Zeus.
That's crazy.
Which this one's really grown on me. I really, really like that one now. I still would prefer a character just because I don't know. I still feel like my Pokemon collector days where it's I don't want a full art of a trainer. I just want a full art of a Pokemon card.
That's fair.
Or a full art item or a gold rare item. I just don't want those. I'd prefer the Pokemon. That being said, I really, really, really do like the art on And Then Along Came Zeus. But that being said, without further ado, the winner is Ursula, Deceiver of All, which again I can't be surprised at because it is the most expensive right now, and so that to me says it's the most popular, which that supports the results. I think my favorite I don't know. I don't really like the Ursula or the Jafar just because I'm not a bad guy person like you are.
Yeah, because you didn't add Chernobog in the list.
No, Cherno. Yeah, I mean maybe I should have. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I would pick. I really don't. I probably Kita.
I'd 100% pick Kita.
Yeah, probably Kita. I don't remember what I picked. It had to have been Kita, but I'm just not a big villain guy. I'm lucky enough to have pulled / opened a Ursula Deceiver of All Enchanted, which I'm very much a fan of. But yeah, I think Kita would be where I would go.
Kita would be my pick.
All right, and the last one to wrap this episode up, we have the best deck,
which is our best film category. We'll go
which I am really shocked at the results on this one. Like, really shocked.
Are you shocked with first place?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You're shocked with first place?
Very shocked. All right, take it away. Give us the top three here. Well, I guess
we'll do all of them. So
yeah, third, fourth, and fifth are tied for third.
So I gotta go with what our options are here first.
Go.
So we've got Steel Song, Sapphire Ruby Dime, Sapphire Steel Ramp, Jafar Reel, Ruby Amethyst, Emerald Steel, Ursula Discard. Wait, no tempo?
Sorry, no tempo.
No Mufasa, that's fine. Alright, so tied for third, fourth, and fifth, we have Ruby Amethyst, Sapphire Steel Ramp, and Sapphire Ruby Dime. In second place, with 26%, Emerald Steel, Ursula Discard. And in first place, Steel Song.
I don't see anybody play Steel Song anymore. Like, I feel like I'm the only person.
It's 100% the best deck in the game.
But I'm the only one that plays it. Like, at all of our set championships, I was the only one playing that. In the last one that I went to that I didn't have anybody else because I traveled a little bit to go there. There were 2 other people out of 28, and I wasn't even playing it that day. I played something else, but so there were 2 people out, and I was the only one. Like, I just haven't seen anybody play it. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying I'm shocked that that's what people voted, because I think if I had to pick just like what my assumptions are based on what I've seen people play, I would say Sapphire Ruby Dime and Emerald Steel would be like my assumption at what people would pick, because that's what I've seen the most.
Well, I'm just trying to get with the fact you didn't have tempo in here.
Again, this was like a month ago, like before you had even got onto that train.
Yeah, but tempo even at that point more so than now.
No, it was good. It was massive at the beginning. It took a huge dip down for quite a while, and then kind of popped back up. And this was like right before it popped back up.
All right.
I think it probably deserves to be on here instead of Jafar, because again, like Jafar's not on. Like Jafar didn't get any votes, and so it should be in the place of Jafar for sure. But again, thinking about when this happened or when this was put together, we put together.
It still hurts. Still hurts, but that's fair.
Yeah, But anyways,
that's all right. That's it.
Card awards. Best deck / best picture goes to Steel Song, and I'll take it because I won both of my stitches on Steel Song. And I didn't even say this before, and I didn't even want to say it, but it eats me alive because I didn't play Steel Song in the last one, and the matchup in the top 8 I lost to was Emerald Steel, which is Ruby Dime's worst matchup. And had I just brought Steel Song, I don't think any of the placement games getting to the top 8 would have mattered, and then I would have had a much better shot. So that one stings a little bit.
Says the guy who got first and second in other tournaments.
Yeah, that one stings a little bit. But it is, again, it's a very matchup dependent meta. So, yeah, it's good to see the diversity. Everybody in Chapter 2 said Ruby Amethyst. So getting this diversity is really, really cool to see.
Yeah, I think it was like 2% Steel Song at that point, and now it's taken its rightful place at the top.
I'm not sure it is the top, but I'd love to see it. So
it's 100% the top.
All right, everyone. That's the card awards. Thank you if you participated and you voted on these. Thank you very much for the participation and making this possible. We really appreciate it. We'll be doing this again the next set. If you didn't vote this time and you would like to, we will be doing it again. You can, again, all of this was posted on our X/Twitter account to click on the link to get to the forum. So we will be doing that again next time. And that's the easiest place to follow along to see when and where we're doing that. Appreciate everybody's input as always, and thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, guys.